Happy birthday, Starfield! What happened in your first year, and where are you going? Hello everyone, this is Richard. Welcome to Starfield Essentials! Bethesda Game Studios released Starfield on September 6th, 2023. I will look at what has happened in the first year of Starfield's general availability, and what will happen in the future. I'll talk about the code itself, modding, game sales, game communication, and expectations for the future. Let's start with the code. I created this chart to show the roughly 24 key dates in Starfield's history, starting with the first review version in mid-August 2023. The updates after launch focused on fixing bugs, usually involving broken quests. Today, there are still some broken quests, such as the missing operative in the Ryujin questline, but the developers have made a lot of progress in this area. The first major update for Starfield arrived in January, and since then there have been 3 really significant updates to the game. These include the May update, which radically improved the maps, introduced ship decoration, and offered new display settings for Xbox Series X. The June update activated Creations, a new market for free and paid mods. Bethesda also provided the first new content to the base game in the form of the Trackers Alliance. This included a new mechanic for scanning crowds for random bounties. We also finally got the Creation Kit, a tool to make it easier to add mods to the game. Finally, the most recent update, in late August 2024, brought us the Rover, another game-changing innovation. Xbox Series S players gained access to new display modes, similar but less performant than those on Xbox Series X. The next scheduled update will be the Shattered Space DLC on September 30th. It's possible we could see a bug fix released before then. For the first half of 2024, Bethesda pursued a roughly 6-week update cadence. Since then, they have released updates on an as-needed basis. Let's talk about mods. As of the time of recording, there are about 8,800 entries for Starfield on Nexus Mods. Starfield is the 11th most modded game on Nexus Mods, behind 7 other Bethesda titles, along with Stardew Valley, Cyberpunk 2077, and Baldur's Gate 3. Starfield is the 17th most downloaded title on Nexus Mods, with almost 55 million downloads. There are well over 1,800 entries for Starfield on Creations. Paid creations make up a tiny fraction of that count, but there are still players, and non-players, who fixate on paid mods. In my opinion, the modding scene has made a huge difference with Starfield. I know many people still play a vanilla game, but consider the following. When Starfield first arrived, the typical new session involved creating a character, going through the Vectera quest, and delivering the artifact to Constellation. After that, you could pursue the main quest or side quests. You were limited to having 0, 1, or possibly 2 companions, depending on the nature of the active quest. You encountered the world as Bethesda had designed it, and had only course control over difficulty levels. These basically influenced the damage settings for your characters and NPCs. Now, with the addition of mods, I usually play a totally different game. I use the SKK Fast Start New Game mod to create a new character. I run a bat file to get my new character to level 60 with my preferred skills and research. I run another bat file to add preferred gear, and a third to enable all mission board access. I use the Gangs All Here mod and recruit Sarah, Andreja, Vasco, and Marika. I go to the Red Mile to buy my ships, which I built in the Creation Kit and saved as a mod. Finally, I recruit Astrid, a mod NPC at Paradiso. Now my crew is ready to tackle whatever adventures I throw at them. I like to use what I call the Chaos mods to add more enemies at higher levels to all POIs. I can even visit new POIs made by modders. For me, these changes make it possible for me to enjoy the game far beyond the vanilla experience. Even within the vanilla experience, there's plenty for players to do outside of prepared content. My first favorite non-combat activity is to build and test ships. I know some players, like the amazing ship technician, basically only build and test ships. My second favorite non-combat activity is to build and test outposts. For example, my O2 shot farm has gone through multiple generations. Even my third favorite activity, simple exploring, has gotten a lot better with the introduction of the rover. Modders have added a lot to all of these game session experiences. Let's talk a bit about performance and ratings. I'm not going to explore the crazy rage and hate tuber nonsense that has plagued Starfield from the beginning. The bottom line is that we don't have a lot of statistics to work with. In December, Microsoft and Bethesda published their end-of-year player stats. It featured this infographic that we've probably all seen. In April, a research outfit called Newzoo released their 2024 gaming report. I published a whole video about it, but my TLDR was that Starfield was winning. I look forward to the 2025 edition in 6 months or so. Finally, we do have Steam charts. I'll include this example just for reference, but I don't assign too much value to it. Plenty of people are playing on Xbox and/or with Game Pass. Starfield is also a single-player game. For what it's worth, the game does appear to be trending modestly upward for the last 6 months. Let's discuss Bethesda's communications involving the game. Since release, there have been 28 news posts, which are mostly patch notes. There have been a few significant news updates. The end-of-year post from December 20, 2023 gave us information on the release cadence for the first half of 2024 and promised we would see the Creation Kit and Shattered Space. Todd Howard appeared in a couple YouTube interviews, notably in conjunction with the Fallout TV series in April. He appeared on the Kind of Funny Games cast in late April and told us a bit about Creation Kit, Creations, and Shattered Space. Bethesda published a video accompanying the May update, which revamped maps and teased vehicles. An official trailer for Shattered Space arrived on June 9th. Todd appeared on the Mr. Matty Plays channel on June 16th, indicating he hoped for annual updates to Starfield starting with its second year. Finally, Tim Lamb spoke several times at the Gamescom event on August 21st. In my opinion, this is pretty thin. I understand that Bethesda is busy with a lot of projects, but Starfield is their first new IP in 25 years. Better communication with players would help the faithful stay energized, and could at least try to address legitimate concerns held by those on the fence. Seems to me that Bethesda relies on its Discord channel for what it considers community engagement. Discord is really just a giant chat room. A big problem with Discord is that it's difficult to find what is and is not being addressed. Many open source software projects handle community engagement using platforms like GitHub. A user can visit a GitHub page, search issues, and open a new one if needed. An alternative is to use a forum like Discourse. Users can visit, search, and post issues. Even Reddit is more helpful than Discord. Reddit is indexed by Google, which means users can search for problems, possibly find answers, and then post if needed. Who am I kidding? No one searches Reddit before posting? What's wrong with my planets? And who the F is Dude Back? Bottom line is that Bethesda could do a much better job engaging with its player base. This is especially true for modders, and specifically for those who make core modding infrastructure like Xedit, the Starfield script extender, and similar code. Listening to those modders, addressing their concerns, and telling everyone what is happening would go a long way towards improving the overall long-term health of the game. This includes publishing documentation. As of this video, we still do not have official Creation Kit documentation. A visit to creationkit.com still produces a maintenance page. This has been the case for almost a year. The only documentation is from some sort of leak. Bethesda, please let us know what's going on and release the official documentation. We want to continue building on the foundation you have set for us. What do I expect for the future? In a few weeks, we will get Shattered Space. We know Todd Howard wants another DLC for Starfield. In February, ZeniMax, the management side of Bethesda, applied for a trademark for the term Starborn. This could indicate the name of a future DLC. Beyond that, we do not know the future of Starfield. Todd has talked about a 5-year runway, but we have no other concrete details. At some point, Starfield will become more like previous Bethesda games. Rather than near monthly updates, we will have a more stable code base. This will make it easier for modders to develop and maintain their code. I'm hopeful that we will get actual Creation Kit documentation, as well as improvements to Starfield to better enable modding. The elephant in the room is a limit on the mod index. The current value is 255, which has the practical effect of limiting the overall mod count to something like 100 or so mods. This cannot be what Bethesda intended, given their changes to the way mods work in Starfield. The modding community is pretty frustrated by this problem, as well as with other changes in Creation Engine 2 that break modding tools like Xedit. I hope in Starfield's second year that Bethesda fixes these problems. Given that there are native space station parts hidden in the core game, I also hope Bethesda releases them to everyone in a future update. I would like to see enhancements to the outpost building experience. The ability to share blueprints of ships and outposts would be welcome. I can only dream of having an export to module option within the game to allow us to build ships and outposts inside Starfield and then save the results for sharing. I'd like to conclude with some context that undoubtedly shapes how I see Starfield. A year ago, I was in the process of giving up on learning Digital Combat Simulator. My dream of taking another flight in my beloved F-15E Strike Eagle, albeit virtually, was just not going to happen. The knowledge curve was too steep. You see, I'm not a video gamer. The first video game I ever played was a version of Star Trek, with output going to a teletype machine. My first personal computer was a Timex Sinclair ZX80, and this was the first game I played, a flight simulator. The only game I really played the last 25 years was FreeCiv. To me, Bethesda was a town in nearby Maryland. I only learned about Starfield by watching Todd Howard's Starfield Direct Gameplay Deep Dive video in June 2023. I was studying science fiction tabletop role-playing games at the time, so the YouTube algorithm suggested Starfield as a computer RPG. Something about that video captured my imagination, so I ordered an Xbox Series S, the Starfield gamepad, and headset. I was all in. I thought that brand new 1TB Series S must have been the best Xbox because it was the newest, right? Boy, I was a noob. I started playing Starfield in September 2023, right after launch. I had so much trouble with the initial gameplay that I asked one of my kids to sit next to me while playing. Whenever I forgot what a button did, I would ask for help. Once I learned about mods, I repurposed one of my kids' 2018 Dell gaming laptops and bought a copy for Steam. In March 2024, I bought a modern gaming PC, and that has been my primary platform since then. I now have something like 1,000 hours across all platforms, and completed the main game and quests using a totally vanilla character and game. These days, though, I spend a lot of time trying to understand how Starfield works. I watch a lot of videos on modding Starfield, and I'm working on my own game programming development knowledge. I try to contribute to Starfield where I can, but I would like to improve my skills and get into more serious development over the next year. Overall, I've greatly enjoyed Starfield since its release a year ago. Not only have I played the game, but in late December I started making these videos. I knew nothing about streaming, recording game footage, editing, and so on. Thank you to the almost 2,000 of you who have subscribed and joined me on this journey. For the second year of Starfield, I only have positive thoughts on the game and those who play it. What do you think of the first year? What do you think of the future? Please let me know in a comment below. If you made it to this part of the video, leave a comment saying onward. Also, remember to ring the bell icon and select all notifications if you think Marika should be a fully expanded NPC. If you'd like to hear my summary of all the Shattered Space news from Gamescom, check out my Starfield news playlist. My name is Richard. I will see you in Starfield.